Welcome, David. I'm so glad to have you here. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Catherine, and it's a pleasure to be here with you today.
It's my absolute pleasure. As I mentioned, I like to start with a superhero story of my guests. So, if you would be so kind to share a little bit about your life and professional journey, which might be inspiring for our audience.
Sure, absolutely. One of the interesting things that I think we discover in life is that looking back, it's easy to see how all the dots are connected,
Mm-hmm.
and that can be quite revealing and actually enjoyable to see that. But of course, going forward, sometimes we struggle. So what was interesting is a big part of my life's journey actually started very early in life for me because at the age of 11, I discovered sales.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that came about was very simple. I didn't like the idea of earning money only through allowance from my parents. And there were a couple of reasons for that. I just didn't like, being told what I had to do
Uh-huh.
and
No, that's
I
the
wanted
real
to make
reason.
my own way in the world. I liked the idea of earning,
Mm-hmm.
that resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to do it in a different way. So just serendipitously, I found through um, the classifieds in a Boy Scouts magazine, there was this opportunity to sell door to door. And for some reason, I just went for it.
Really?
Just
And you
called
were
me. Yeah.
you were only 11?
Yeah, I was about 11 years old and I was actually pretty timid. That makes it even more of an interesting story because I was not the personality type that you would have thought would have gone for that. And it was actually quite scary for me to do it. But I was motivated. I was motivated again because there was enough of part of me that was courageous, I guess, the part of me that was courageous, that was willing to try something new and was enthusiastic about the idea. That was enough to overcome the fear and the resistance. And actually, that's now that I think about it, that's been a theme my whole life, is even though I've just like all of us, I've been afraid, and sometimes a little nervous to do something. I feel like the part of me that's courageous has always been able to kind of overcome that when it resonates.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. This is
Yeah.
incredible. I don't even know if I knew anything when I was 11, like especially not to do something like that. That's truly remarkable. But when we talk about your life and your professional journey, what would you say now are the greatest lessons that you have learned?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of them. One is curiosity is a high value. In other words,
Mm-hmm,
it's enough to be highly successful in life just to be curious about other people and the world and to, cultivate a genuine curiosity. And then through that curiosity, that will lead to the actions that we take. So I think, you know, honestly, if there was one thing that may be missing, there are probably several things that we all struggle with, but one of them might be just a lack of imagination. So I think when we can
mm-hmm,
cultivate a lack of imagination and lack of curiosity, I would say specifically. So when we can become, and I find these days, when I'm walking around, even at the mall, I'm just curious, looking around, like, I'm not going to meet most of the people around me, but I'm genuinely curious about what's going on in their life. And it becomes a way of being. So
mm-hmm.
that's one of the top lessons that I've learned.
And it feels like we lost it somewhere during our, I don't know, childhood or teenage years. I remember
Sure.
I was a very curious child, but education and then, working environment and all of these things make us believe that, this is the way we should live. But both you and I changed that. And I know we share the same mission of helping people to live free. So what is actually freedom for you and why is that so important?
Yeah, well, true freedom, I think, always starts in the mind. Freedom is basically the freedom to choose
Mm-hmm.
uninhibited. And there are several layers to that because oftentimes we restrict our own freedom by limiting our own choices. But we can also experience external restrictions where the society we live in, because it's built of it's a collection of our mindsets, it becomes a society of restrictions and limitations. So it's
Mm-hmm.
both an internal and an external. So the truth is we are beings of infinite value and therefore infinite potential. We can do anything. We can create anything within the boundaries of the physical laws that we found ourselves in. And we don't even really know what those boundaries are. We think we do, but I don't think we
Exactly.
really do,
Yeah.
right? I think the boundaries are far beyond what most people would consider them to be. And
Mhm.
as long as we, work together, collaboratively and not try to harm each other, really there is no limit to what we can do. So I think true freedom is really just the ability to express each of us our individual expression of what we came here to do in our life, our purpose.
I love that. That's so true, and it resonates with my heart so deeply.
Yeah.
But when we talk about these things, we're all aware we have limiting beliefs, right? And most of the people, as you mentioned, they believe that's what they can do. How we can help them to open their eyes and actually see there is an unlimited potential.
Yeah, this is one of the hardest things in life to do. It's the most important work, but it's also the most difficult because as we can all experience even from ourselves, unconscious programming goes very deep and it can be some of the most difficult work even to change ourselves, much less
Mhm,
to
mhm,
influence others. But it
mhm,
is the most important work. And so I feel like whatever we're doing professionally, what I do personally with with my own work is to try to work with people even one-on-one, but certainly within a group setting, to share important knowledge, to share ideas and share
mhm,
concepts that would
mhm,
help to awaken something within the other person.
mhm, mhm.
Because ultimately they have to free themselves. That's the
Exactly.
key, that's the magic. But we can influence that through sharing great ideas and making that sure everything we do, whether in business or in life in general, is aligned towards maximizing that expression.
And being the example of that leadership of kindness and
Yep.
the open mind, if I may say so. Tell us a little bit more about your work, with who you work, and what are the most beautiful transformations that your clients have achieved.
Sure. Well, as I mentioned to you when we spoke previously, I got back into work roughly in August, September of this year. So just a few months ago after having taken some time off. And I have to say, it's been really amazing. Even since we spoke, I've enrolled, I think, 3 new clients working with me one-on-one. And then there's potentially a fourth one that's going to enroll this week. So
So
things are going
beautiful.
really well. I'm very grateful. Yeah. Yeah, a
Congratulations.
lot to celebrate. Yeah, and these clients, they are each, they're each very different, but I would say the commonality is like you and I, they are on a mission. And I'm just there to support their mission as much as possible, mainly through helping them with the structure of their sales organization and how
Mhm,
to
mhm,
how
mhm.
to sell more effectively within that paradigm, and then how to build an organization where others can join in that. So it's not just them as individuals. So just to give one example, one of my clients, she's helps people overcome mental illness, specifically borderline personality disorder,
Mhm, mhm,
which is obviously something that's fairly pervasive, unfortunately. But the good news is it's something that is curable. Like
mhm,
someone can heal
mhm,
from that, I
mhm.
guess, just put it in a different way. And there are specific ways to do that. So she helps them do that. And I'm very proud to help her. And she's already making leaps and bounds just in the few months that we've been working together.
And it's so important because
Yeah,
when we help a person like that and she is helping more people, we are actually creating a ripple effect of this
that's
positive
right.
change, right? And I believe that all of us, and I will be free to say, as you mentioned, we have a mission and we do different things, but the mission is the same. And that's to make this world a better place and to help people and to collaborate and to, create a legacy, to create a mark. So what is your big plan for the next year? Because we are recording this in December, just mid-December, and like about the holiday season.
Yeah, that's a great question, Catherine. I love to think big and I love to, imagine what's next. I would say there are two ways that I can answer that. With
Mhm,
respect to my work, I do plan to continue to deepen my one-on-one coaching and consulting and enroll, a few more clients to work very closely with me because again, I always work one-on-one, so it's not as scalable as say doing group coaching, and I'm fine with that. So I want to continue to deepen that. But beyond that, the vision or goal beyond that, of course, going back to freedom, which for me is, freedom, as we've talked about, is it's basically what I consider my purpose here, to generate more freedom in the world and to inspire others to unlock that freedom. So to achieve that, I want to continue to invest time, energy, and resources into my project Freedom Vibe, which is basically a platform, a private endeavor, a platform for education. And I've already been on that path. I've been doing that, so it's not brand new, but I want to take it to a whole new level a whole new level of creativity, a whole new level of collaboration. And so it's not just me, but there are now start to be other people involved and other projects, constellation of projects, all in the artistic and educational realm, and all geared towards inspiring human beings everywhere to be free.
People don't see because I'm recording as the speaker is talking, but I was smiling a lot when you
Yeah,
said that because I'm doing exactly the same. It's just called the Freedom Navigator. Probably topics are different, but it is an e-learning a platform, and it looks like we are definitely taking very similar steps for the 2024. And I will be honest, before I came on the call, I was about to wear something the same color you have now. But I changed in
amazing.
the last 5 minutes. So I will take this as a sign. I know how important it is to practically go out there and to share the knowledge and to be an example. And for me, you are a true example. You are a true example of that. And if there is anything I can support you with, I'm definitely in. So, if someone would like to work with you, if they would like to connect with you, what would be the best way?
Yeah, it always starts with a conversation. And by the way, just before I say that, I want to just say something about what you said regarding our shared
Mhm.
mission of freedom, if that's okay.
Yeah, of
I
course.
don't want to skip over that because I think the fact that you shared that is so important, Catherine, because to generate freedom in the world, it's not the work of one person.
And it
So
can
there
be.
is no redundancy if you and I are working towards the same purpose, because we really do need tr freedom warriors, if we want to put it that way, freedom fighters, not in the sense of just fighting, in the classic sense, but
Exactly.
the
Hmm.
spiritual war or the psychological, sharing great ideas and principles. So it's great that we're doing that from our own perspective. And actually we need, it would be great when more people do that. So the more, we want to encourage more of that. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. I appreciate that. And I think it's super important that it's not just me or one person trying to do it. Right.
Thank you.
So,
I share absolutely the same thoughts, and this is why I was smiling so much because
yeah,
I'm sure we kind of find a way to connect with our people or our soul tribe, however we want to call that. But eventually we find a way, and I'm sure that we can make something very beautiful together.
amazing. Yeah, I'm definitely open to that. Now, as far as your question about who I love to work with or kind of how that process starts, if I understand the question
Hmm.
correctly,
Hmm.
um, because I'm naturally curious and because relationships for me are much more important than transactions, what I like to say is, and this is how we connected, uh, it all starts with a conversation. I generally say if someone resonates with what I'm saying and they just want to connect with me, that's great. Let's do that. I'm not going to try to sell them anything. I would rather people connect based on resonance and, synergy, and then the possibilities we'll explore from there. People have shown up talking to me and they already had a need. People have shown up and there isn't a need right now, but maybe there will be in the future. And we can
Exactly.
just be
Yeah.
open to that.
Yeah.
So the way I put it is I just want to attract, I want to attract people that resonate with the ideas that I share. Let's have a conversation. That's where everything starts. I also offer a free coaching session. It's a 2-hour coaching session for anybody who just wants to try the experience of being coached by me without any strings attached. So I think if someone's struggling with anything and they feel like, getting 2 hours of powerful coaching could help, I would say, reach out and we can explore that. So these are just some of the ways that, I'm always trying to make it as easy as possible to start that conversation, and then we'll know together if there's a fit.
Beautiful. And if you would like, I would leave a link for that call in the description below. And this is the way how we connected. Actually, I think this
Yeah.
is our third conversation. First, we have an intro chat, then you did the interview with me, and now I'm doing it with you. And we are already collaborating and creating something very beautiful. And it's not going to be like, too much if I say that every single word you said resonated with me. And publicly, I just said few things, but when we finish this interview, I will share with you a little bit more because I enrolled exactly the same. Like you said, you enrolled three clients and one is on its way, and it's the same for me since we met. So I truly, truly believe that people who are meant to create something nice in this world will find a way to join their journeys together like we did, and people will also. Is there anything else you would like to share for the end, or what would be your wish, or what would be your message for the New Year's and 2024?
Yeah, that's amazing. It's hard to pick one thing, but I guess, looking at the things that have made the biggest difference for me over the last few months as I got back into doing business, I would say, um, let's go with this. For people who are struggling, I want to invite you, for you who's watching or listening to this, who's been struggling a bit, just even to get by or to grow your business or whatever it is, see if you can go back and cultivate a sense of wonderment and curiosity, like I was saying earlier, about others. I think if people could generate more authentic curiosity about others and interest in what they're doing, and then offer to help them and support them using their own unique gifts, then in terms of business and certainly in terms of life, everything will flow from there. And that will unlock the abundance. And then we can stop worrying about, oh, how am I going to pay the bills? Where am I going to get my next client? Why am I struggling? It's like we need to get out of that mindset because the universe responds to whatever our mindset is. If we are putting out the vibe that, we have lack and it's a struggle, then we're just going to keep getting more of that. It's really that simple. The universe is like a giant mirror. Reality is like a giant mirror. It just keeps reflecting back. So my number one recommendation for people who are struggling is just what can you do to generally fall in love with life? Fall in love with the idea that there are other people out there and we are all connected, but yet every person is an individual with their own unique aspects of how they how they live, how they are. And if we can just cultivate a genuine curiosity and then have conversations, that's the next big thing. Once you've generated that curiosity, start to have conversations with people from that perspective, not from the perspective, I need something.
Mm. Mhm.
Needy is kind of creepy, but
Yeah.
when you really genuinely care, everybody, no, everybody is going to be attracted to that, even people who have suffered. So kind of turn that on its head and see, play with that. This is my top advice. And then see what you can generate from that inversion of the usual way that we look at things.
Thank you so much for sharing this because this is like one of my core values, and it really is like that. I would like people to really grasp into this, and let's make 2024. You know how they say, let's make New Year the best ever. It doesn't have to be the best ever, but if we just make this shift, which you just mentioned, it is going to be the best ever. I did it and every
Yeah.
every year before. Thank you so, so much for being my guest. I truly enjoyed every conversation with you, and I hope you did too.
Thanks, Catherine. I really enjoyed it, and those were amazing questions. It was my pleasure to share with you and with your audience.
Thank you. Bye.